Good morning. Hello, hello. If everyone wants to get a seat, come on in. Well, I tell you, it's a light crew today. We're battling Mother Nature. We got competition with Mother Nature, and I can't say I wouldn't be in the woods somewhere myself. But that's a reminder. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off. Thank you for the reminder. And who's here for their first time today? Okay, would you two like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Kathy. New to the area for 2 years now.
Okay. Hey, Kathy, good to have you.
I'm JJ, and I've been here for 5 months.
Well, welcome. Yay. Okay, so we have, I want to make a few announcements before I get into what's going on this week. Anyone else here for the first time? I don't think so. Scotty, have you been to a Sunday service? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, welcome back. Glad to see you. Yes, indeed. Well, I wanted to, what I'm choosing to do is to coordinate a committee for our Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to be 5 o'clock Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to make arrangements to have a couple of turkeys picked up somewhere. And then, somewhere, yeah, they'll be somewhere. And but we'll, yeah. Okay, so, but I hope everybody can come, and it's going to be fun. So we'll have some turkey, and then I want to create a menu that, so we don't have like turkey and 14 pies, or 14 corns or whatever. So if we can create a menu, I think it would be a lot better. And of course, we also have to have assistance in setting up and that sort of thing, and tearing down. So if anyone is interested in participating and helping out, please see me after the service. I'm going to be flying back from Florida that day, so at 2 o'clock. So I'm not going to be much good because I'm going to be coming off 10 days down there at a minister's conference. So I really could use some support. So anyone who's willing and interested, see me after the service. Also, just to give you a little heads up about what's coming up for the holidays, we've got Terry's concert. We're praying that his new CD will be out by then. It's going to be December 14th. Do you want to tell them a little bit about the concert?
Sure. It's Sunday afternoon, December the 14th. It's 3 o'clock. It's like a CD release party for the new album. Yeah. And I'll have some great musicians on stage with me who helped me with the CD. Chris Rosser, who's a wonderful pianist and producer, and Elliot Wodopian, who's a 2-time Grammy-winning bass player. He'll be on stage with me too. So
great.
Right here.
Right here. Yeah. And then the Christmas Eve, we're going to have a Christmas Eve service with caroling, and Roland is going to help out with that. He's going to lead the caroling, and then we are hoping that Brian and Pam will be here to lead the service. But it will be here Christmas Eve, so I'll let you know the details of that as well.
Are we going to go to Highland Lake again like we did 1 year?
Well, no. So there you have it. And then we got a great place here now. We don't need to go anywhere else. And also, New Year's Eve Burning Bowl will be on the list. So I'm going to put everything on this week's newsletter, so keep your eyes open. This week, number one, Peter Jetty's course. It was wonderful last week. Really loved it. He's willing to open it up to anyone who's interested in taking the next 3 classes. So it's Tuesday at 7. If you're interested in that, show up here at 7. And it's really wonderful. It's a lot of teaching, learning, meditation practices, wonderful course. So if you're interested, would love to have you.
Reverend Charlotte?
Yes.
Just wanted, because you're talking about 7 o'clock on Tuesday, Master Shaw's Soul Healing Group is at 5.
And I made that mistake again, and I apologize, so thank you. Yes.
As a relationship to having that class, getting out of here so that the next class...
Yes, and I appreciate that. We're in the Soul Healing Group. is at 5 o'clock, and I will correct that this week on the newsletter, so thank you. I appreciate that. Now, the last announcement we have is this week, Wednesday night, Jonna Ray Bartis, who many of you know, she's going to be here. We're having our Halloween party. You can dressing in a costume is optional if you choose, but we're just going to have refreshments, and then she's going to offer readings to the group. So you can actually ask a question to a departed loved one, and she's very, very good. So if you want to join us 7 o'clock, spread the word. It should be a lot of fun. So that concludes my announcements, and Suka would like to make an announcement, and welcome back. We've missed you. Yeah.
I am offering a 3-day holistic intensive retreat, a retreat in Montreat. And it'll be a treat. So I have flyers I'll put back there. It's a 3-day intensive retreat, 9 to 9, 2 days a week, 9 to 5 on Saturdays, so November 20th to 22nd. We will, if you see me afterwards, I won't take time to really tell you about that now, but it's limited to 12 people, and I'm giving a special price reduction to people who attend Namaste. So please see me afterwards. It's very, very unique and very powerful. So I have flyers.
Thank you, Suka. Okay, well, that sounds exciting. Oh, well, anyone else have anything that I have forgotten? Okay, okay. Let's take a moment and close our eyes and just take a nice deep breath and invite the Holy Spirit to enter our hearts and our minds so that we may be fully present. And we allow our hearts to connect with each person here today, expanding the energy of love, peace, and forgiveness. We place this center in the hands of God, and we ask that Spirit speak through each and every one of us so that we may hear and experience exactly what serves our highest good. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Terry
Yeah, I'm
Wetter.
still there, still in there. How long do you have to be here before they spell your name?
But okay, so I owe Terry Wetter and Master Shaw Group an apology.
Who does these things?
I don't know. They're not very good at it though.
All right, shall we sing the Light of God?
Yes, right. Yes, Terry.
Yes, Terry.
Yes, Terry.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Stand up.
Yeah.
The light of God is in me, and it shines right out my eyes, making me a part of everything in the earth and sea and skies. And it makes me feel so happy just to know I'm not alone. 'Cause when you're a part of everything, everywhere is your home.
Second verse, ready?
There's a light that shines within you, and is with you every day, giving love to everybody in the the earth and sea and sky. And it makes me feel so happy just to know I'm not alone. 'Cause when you're a part of everything, everywhere is your home. Everywhere is your home.
All right. Thank you. You're a good voice today.
Yeah.
So yeah, the album is almost complete, and it's now got a title. It's called Simply Love. So this is another track from it. This is the never-ending series of songs from the new CD. And this is a song which I wrote quite a while ago. It's called Love Comes, and the idea is that love seems to come in all different sizes. It can be in the eyes of a child, in a puppy or a flower or anything. And it's everywhere. So that's what the song's about. Love comes in all different sizes. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. Love comes and always surprises the way we rise and the way we fall. Love comes without any warning. Suddenly you can see the light. Love comes at 4 in the morning and wakes you up from the darkest night. Love knows every one of us, all our hopes and our fears. Love comes, it's a miracle. At least that's the way that it seems. Love comes when you least expect it. It's never where you think it is. When love comes, you must protect it. Keep it warm, seal it with a kiss. Love comes in a memory, a photograph, a smile. Love stays for a lifetime, maybe just for a while. Love comes in all different sizes. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. Love comes and always surprises the way we rise and the way we fall. The way we rise and the way we fall.
Thank you. Beautiful as always. One announcement before the meditation that I forgot to make was Cindy, our lovely Cindy, who's here to greet and set up on Sunday morning, is not here today. Her dog of 13 years she had to put to sleep, and needless to say, she's very sad. And that dog was her companion in her life. So next week, just give her an extra hug, and if If you want to send her a card. James, do we have her address? Okay, well, we'll get it either way. I'll put it on the newsletter as well, so if you choose to send her a card, or James may have it back there. So keep Cindy in your heart right now, and I'm sure she would appreciate that. So let's just take a nice deep breath and allow ourselves to open fully to the experience of knowing who we are as beings of infinite light, love, magnificent in all ways. We envision a beautiful white light permeating every cell of our being, washing clean our consciousness, and allowing us to be here now, together. With each breath, we become more relaxed, more comfortable, more peaceful. Now allow your focus to go into your heart. And if you choose, you may place your hands over your heart. And draw your attention there. Allow yourself to receive fully this energy of love, and see this energy as it extends beyond your body, connecting with each person here today. And together we create a healing vortex of total love, transformation, and possibility. This room is filled with bright white light. And all else dispels in its presence. Know that in this moment you are reborn, renewed, and restored. Forgive your past. And open to this power. If there's any physical symptoms that you've been experiencing, envision this light restoring you to perfect health. If there's a situation in your life that has been challenged or challenging, place this in the midst of this light as well. We no longer need look back, but open our arms and our hearts and our minds fully to this loving presence. We send this love, this peace, to our brothers and sisters around the world, and we ask that they feel the same beauty that we feel here right now. We choose peace, we choose love. And so it is. Amen. Okay. Good morning. Okay, well, as a few of you all may know, or many of you know, a couple of weeks ago, Ellen and I weren't here. That was the day we were blessed with Mary's wonderful talk, which I've enjoyed so much on YouTube. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to take time to watch it. It was a beautiful message. And Ellen and I, on that Sunday morning, where we were in Myrtle Beach, in our RV, ready, actually about this time, we were showing up at the venue to see a wonderful conference. It was Lee Carroll, who is actually known as Cryon. Have you all heard of Cryon? Yeah. Anyone not heard of Cryon? Okay, cool. Cryon, Lee Carroll is a engineer. He's a very intelligent man. He's got a great message. And as many people say, that really he doesn't even need Cryon because he's so intelligent and so intuitive and a wonderful teacher. But Cryon is a master teacher that actually comes through him and shares just great insights on everything imaginable. You name it, it's there. And over the years, since 1989, he's been inspired by Cryon, and there's books after books that you can read. And if you look back in the history, many of the teachings most of the teachings have come true. So he's a prophet of sorts, and it's really amazing because I like his energy because it's very positive, upbeat, funny, and deep at the same time. But so we were with the Gallenbergers. We had a great time. That was a 6-hour seminar in Myrtle Beach. But let me back up a little bit. Ellen and I showed up a couple of days early to take advantage of the beauty down there. I found an RV park where we could park our RV right. Literally from here to that building away, not even that far from the beach. So that was lovely. We parked the rig and that was great. And but the one interesting thing, it was rated #1 in South Carolina for umpteen years, right? So I'm like, okay, this is where we're going. We got the cool lot. And we drive in and it turns out to be, no criticism intended, but a very family-oriented Christian, and big billboard. With Bible quotes and all. And I'm like, oh, okay, are we at the right place? And then you walk into the check-in center, which is magnificent. This place was beautiful. And I want to say that we're going back in April, so it was actually a very positive experience. But we checked in, and of course then they say no alcohol or cigarettes on premise. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have we walked into? Not that we were going to smoke and drink all weekend, but it was very light. It was beautiful, and we loved it, and our dogs just loved the beach. Well, Lola, the little 9-year-old fatty dachshund, she just ran like she was a kid. It was really so cute. We had a great time, and when we were checking out, I said, well, let's go back, check into April. And the woman at first looked at us like, Ellen says, I don't think she likes us. And but then we were talking to her, and she actually turned out to be very nice. And she said, I don't think you all want to come that week. She says, there's going to be a lot of families here. You two girls seem like you'd be better off coming at this time. And so she ended up being very helpful. And so it was a great place. And Myrtle Beach, I hadn't been to Myrtle Beach since high school. And the last trip I took to Myrtle Beach was literally after I graduated high school. Me and 7 girlfriends jumped into 2 cars, cold beers in the car, driving down to Myrtle Beach, and it was a week of, I don't remember. And, but it was definitely a fun week. But how I survived my youth, I still am amazed. But anyway, Myrtle Beach at that time, it was, that's all I knew it to be, where you went for high school graduation to party. And there's actually a lot more to it, and it's a nice place, so you might want to check it out sometime. But so interestingly enough, and I just want to share this because it really touched me, there was a family that came and they parked their big RV right behind us. And it was a big RV, a beauty. And I went out and, people are very friendly at these parks. And so I was talking to the husband, and I noticed that they had it set up beautifully. They put the canopy down and had the little fire pit and the tables and the lights. And so we were talking, and I noticed he had his daughter who obviously had some issues, and she was in a little wagon. A beautiful little girl. And she just, was a little bit debilitated. And so we talked a little bit, and I said, so what's her situation? And he said that's the reason they live in the RV, because they need to travel to different environments that support her healing, and she's environmentally sensitive. She's 11 years old. But interestingly enough, he said that she was born fine, and this was due to a vaccination. And he's got, so he and his wife have had to just, and their older teenage daughter have had to, literally live on the road because of this. And I thought, wow, that's, and I'm not here to make a political stance or statement, but it's just interesting how sometimes these things happen, and to see what one little vaccination can do to a person's life, it's amazing. And but these people were remarkable people, and the way that they had just created a beautiful environment, as beautiful as they could for this daughter, was really touching. And I know that I recognize that there's no mistakes who we meet in our life. There's no accident, and so I really pay attention to that. And so that was a gift. That was a gift to meet these people. They were really wonderful, inspirational beings. So anyway, we can just blast this little girl with lots of love too. And she was a light. I mean, the girl was a light. She was beautiful and sweet, and would wave and giggle, and she was adorable. But anyway, so moving forward to Cryon, we get there, and it was so funny. I ran into so many people I knew. Myrtle Beach. Actually, Nancy from Namaste Center, she was there with a few of her friends, and then we ran into some friends from South Carolina, and then a couple of folks that we met the week earlier at the Coptic conference. And it's always fun to go to these conferences and see, familiar faces. It's really great. And there were about 200 people there, and it was wonderful. And I was expecting, I don't know about anyone else there, but I was thinking he was just going to go in and start channeling Cryon all day, and that wasn't the case at all. It was more of a PowerPoint presentation where he taught a lot of things. And he channeled maybe twice for 5 minutes, maybe, not even, maybe 10. But it was a great day, and I wanted to share some of the ideas that he taught, because they were so right on, and a lot of things that we've talked about, in past months here at the Namaste Center. But what he was sharing mostly was a new prophecy, where we're really, we have actually, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is what we've been working for, is this new prophecy. And he goes on to say, I just found this quote this week from Cryon that says, "My beloved ones, you have heard it from Cryon. The battle is over. We have won. I want to thank all of you for the support you have given, for we would not have made it without you. I love you. Let us create something new from what we have learned. I am you, God, love forever." And one thing that was so wonderful is sometime 2 weeks earlier at the Coptic conference, one of the presenters, it was like, she had us all just, whoa, it was so scary. And, her visions were a lot different. And so it was nice to be refreshed by something like this. And those of you at the Coptic Conference may agree, it was intense, to say the least. But this message was really one where I think we here at the Namaste Center may align with more and really know that we can co-create together a wonderful experience. And what he talked about was this prophecy. Part of it is really the balance of the masculine and feminine energy, that we have for millennia been dominated by masculine energy. And it's not man and woman. It's really, when we see, most of you all have seen the yin and yang image, and it's basically what that represents is a balance of our energy. And so some of us are male dominant or female dominant, but it's really about balancing that. And when we say masculine energy, that's more the energy of doing, of control, of fear, of warring. And the feminine energy is that more of being and intuitive, in living from our heart, and more awareness from an intuitive perspective. So the balance, we need to be doers because we're in this three-dimensional world, we have things to do, but it's now coming to the point of what the force that drives that is that of love. So we're really moving into that place of balance, and I feel it. I just really feel this happening. And he went back, he referenced Greg Braden 99 times during the talk at least. And it was, and so their teachings are very compatible. And he talked about, when we had Greg here a couple of years ago, it was right before the big event, December 21, 2012, which I loved what Greg said when people said, Greg, so what's going to happen? And people are, taking different measures and means for this big event, thinking that was the end of the world. And so Greg says, well, I can't really answer that because we haven't created it yet. And meaning that we're co-creating in every moment our future experience. So it's really what we collectively put out there into the field is what our experience will be. But he did go on to say that the December 21, 2012 was the end of the Mayan calendar, but it wasn't the end of the world. It was the end of a cycle, a 26,000-year cycle. And so so we're really moving into the age of light and more balance in our experience. And I don't know about you guys, but one thing he talked about last year was a tough year. Anyone else have a tough year last year? Lots of stuff came up for a lot of people, I noticed. And what that really, he talked about that. He said that was a year of purging. It was to prepare us to move into this new prophecy or paradigm is what it really was. So although it was a tough time for some of us, I can look back now and say, what a blessing. I mean, that was all of these thought systems and behaviors and things were not conducive to my highest good. And so it was a good thing. I really see that. And so, but it's nice to get that, to hear your experience supported by Cryon, and others. And so it was a year of purging. And what he talks about now is that literally we're recalibrating. We're coming together and we're reactivating our whole being. And it's up to us, to take means to develop this, which I'll get to in a minute or two, because this is a time now that we're really moving into a whole new state of being, a whole new place. And I really experience that personally, and I certainly see it every day in people I talk to. Some people, the recalibration's a bit rocky, a little bit painful, but it's all part of the process and it's all good. And we just have to keep that faith and that knowing that that is the case, that it's all really good. Now, one thing he talked about, he's big into our DNA. And, we've all heard that we only use 10% of our brain. But he goes on to, and what would, now I've seen, there's a couple of movies that I haven't seen, but I know that they've been out, that have actually shown what it would be like if our whole brain was like on. Can you imagine if we're only using 10%, what 100% would be? 90%. Be pretty wild. And but he talked about the DNA in our body, and that we're only, that's like our information system, our DNA. And he says that right now he talked about 33 being a master number, and that we're all operating from 33% of our DNA. So this recalibration is actually moving us to 44, another master number, which is 44% of our DNA. Now, back to what the 33 represents is the compassion of Christ. And so we're in a compassionate place, but this 44 is actually where we get more tuned in. We can remember and tap into all of our past experiences, past lives, future experience, and universal knowledge, which I think is so cool. And I think people are having glimpses of that. You know, can you all relate to that? I know I've had conversations with a lot of you folks, and people are tapping into that already. We're expanding our awareness and our consciousness. Well, one thing, you know, we all realize that, maybe you don't, that there's a magnetic field.
But you're fixing to.
Yeah, that's right, you're fixing to. There's a magnetic field around our planet, and that they're actually able to monitor the magnetic field of the planet Earth. And he talked about, you know, compassionate events. And I don't know, how many of you all were here to see Greg Braden? Many of you? It was a wonderful event, and he talked about, you know, when the field spiked in a positive way during 9/11. Now, not to say, but it wasn't the horror of the planes crashing into the buildings, but it was really what came thereafter, and the compassion and the love that came from that event, and how that it spiked. I mean, you can see the reading. It just, you know, here we are, and then woo. And it was all those hearts coming together to serve. I watched in a film one time about a young man who said that, you know, when he just happened to be there when it happened. And instead, as people were running away from the buildings, he was running towards to serve people. But he said all the barriers were broken down at that time. There was no black, white, gay, straight. It was just human beings helping fellow human beings. And so that heart energy definitely spiked. He talked about another, what would you all say would be another event? Do you have any idea? Princess Diana, exactly. And I mean, that one got me, I tell you, when that was a definite compassionate event. And, you know, the love that poured out for Princess Diana. He also talked about the tsunami, that big tsunami in Thailand, all the hearts that reached out to those people and all the love poured there. And one thing that he talked about, which I thought was very interesting, and one you may not have thought, I never dreamed it would be, and that was the Chilean miners. Remember when they were stuck in the mine, and when they were rescued, the love, that was another big spike of love for those folks. And there's something very sacred and special about that part of the world in Chile where this happened, so much so that he's gone down there and that they've made that sort of a sacred monument to mark that, because he told a lot of stories about some amazing things that happened from that event. Much bigger than much bigger than the miners coming out of the ground safely. It was a huge event, which was a earth-changing event. So these compassionate events, sometimes it looks like we have to go through the turmoil and the difficulty of situations, but we can use those to really spike our ability to love and to be healed and to heal each other. But he goes on to also talk about 2014, this year. What do we hear about on the media so much? And that's global warming, okay? And that's always been, you know, Rush Limbaugh says there's no global warming, just in case you didn't know that. If y'all haven't been, and I don't listen to Rush that much at all. But I've heard those liberal wackos believe that in global warming. But anyway, he talks about this, and so does Greg, about he confirmed that there is no global warming. He said it's a cycle, a weather cycle that we're in. It's a pattern. And so that was interesting. But yesterday, again, the universe just places exactly who you need. I think it was 2 nights ago on WTZQ radio, Mark, the manager, was interviewing the weather guy, Paul. And I don't know if you all heard it, but about our winter coming up. It was a real good interview. Did anyone hear it? It was wonderful. And it was talking about that, and he can explain it. He's very interesting, and he was explaining it about the, I don't know, whatever. He explained it in a way that it sort of made sense, but I can't share it with you. So, but let me give you the gist. We're warm now. We're going to be warm in November, but come December, January, February, it's going to be cold. So there you have it. And he talked about, and we're going to have more precipitation. So if it's based on his models here. But I saw him he works over there at Ace Hardware, and I was like, hey, Paul, I said, I loved your show last night. He goes, oh, thanks. So then, of course, you open him up, and he'll talk to you for hours. And but I said, so what do you think about global warming? We were talking about cycles, and he said, well, there's definitely, he feels that there may be a factor there as well, but maybe not to the extreme that we thought. Not to say that we need to keep putting this stuff into the environment, but really we are just cycling into a new weather pattern. Cryon called it a mini ice age, and I even asked Paul about that. He said, yeah, he doesn't think we'll see it in our lifetime to the extreme, but our children will. And it's definitely going to be cold, very cold in parts of the world. But this is all part of that cycle. And I found that interesting. I always, am curious to what the heck is going on. I even though it's all an illusion, I like to understand the illusion a little bit. And so anyway, but I loved what he said. As I said, it was very positive and uplifting and inspiring. And he said, okay, the good news is this. The sun is coming out. As I said earlier, we've won. And when it's like we've won the battle. And I don't see this as a battle of good and evil. I just think that we've overcome the tough stuff. And we're moving into a much lighter state of being. And he talked about, people who convene at those sorts of conferences and places like the Namaste Center, we're seeking a bigger answer here. We're asking bigger questions than maybe other people do, and that's not meaning anyone's better or worse. It just, we're not just being prompted by the media to accept and swallow, okay, vaccinations and this and this and this. We're just asking the bigger questions. And what he goes on to say is you can't scare an old soul. And so there you go. And I love that because and what's an old soul? I think it's back to that idea of those of us who have done the work to peel away the layers of fear, that we've built that's blocked us from our true light, our true nature. And the essence of who we are, being spirit, is changeless, formless, and eternal, and not affected by any of this stuff. And so those of us that may be old souls, for lack of a better word, is when you know that, we can be in the world but not of it. We can just observe without getting caught up in the cycle of fear. It's like the image of a hurricane. If you see it from space, it's this huge image, and then in the midst there's the eye of the storm, and in that eye it's perfectly still. Well, that's a representation of our spirit. The eye, or the spirit of us, can be still in the midst of this. But what happens is maybe younger souls or people who aren't so aware, we get sucked out into this and that, and it's turbulent. So it can be a smooth ride or a turbulent ride. So that's good news too. And it's really time, he talked about this a lot, for us to claim and see our magnificence. Because we are magnificent beings. We truly, if we believe that we are created in the likeness and image of God, then we are magnificent. And that doesn't mean we're magnificent for our stuff and our accomplishments. We're all magnificent just because of the truth of who we are. And it's time to really focus on that. And I'm preaching to the choir. I know we know that to a degree, but the reinforcement and the remembrance is so huge if we can allow ourselves to really focus on that part of us that is magnificent. And we all are. So to see that in ourselves and each other, and to remember that, this is all part of the recalibration. The more I focus on that magnificence, the rest of it just sort of melts away. One thing, too, that is so important at this time for us to really move into this state of 44 or raise our vibration or move into that DNA activation at a higher level is to see through the lens of love and compassion. And so that is a very high vibration deed that we can do. The more we allow ourselves to be compassionate and to be loving, that's one of the most powerful things we can do to activate our DNA. There was another thing I thought was very cool, and it was the idea of he said, there's something being created that will supersede the invention of the wheel. And he talked about this being a quantum lens. And with this lens, it's a lens to where we can see the energy field. Rather than see the form, it's just this lens of seeing reality, light, the energy field. And he says the only reason it hasn't manifested yet is because if it came on to the planet at this time, until we purge the fear and the need to control, if it got into the hands of controlling beings, it could be used for not so good measures. But he said the time is coming, there again, when we move into 44, sure doesn't feel like it sometimes when you watch the news, and he said turn that off, by the way, because it's up to us to really, we're co-creating this experience, we're really co-creating it. So we have to step out of the fear and step into love. And, when he says that we see this energy field and activate this through love and compassion, we're going to see the Merkaba field. And so I was like, okay, how do you explain the Merkaba? And I wanted to, so I looked up a little bit about the Merkaba so I could explain it better. Have you heard of the Merkaba? Well, the Merkaba, it basically is the divine light vehicle allegedly used by ascended masters to connect with and reach those in tune with the higher realms. Mer means light, Ka means spirit, and Ba means body. So, light, spirit, body. Merkaba means that the light body is surrounded by counter-rotating fields, and we've seen the image here. Fields of light or wheels within wheels. And that spirals our energy into DNA, which transports our light body from one dimension to another. Now, where's Merkaba mentioned in the Bible? Do you know? No, Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the wheel. I remember in Glee Club we sang that song, Ezekiel saw the wheel. And it says that the Merkaba is most closely associated with the vision in Ezekiel chapter 1 of the four-wheeled vehicle that was driven by living creatures, each of which had 4 wings, 4 faces of a man, lion, ox, and eagle, or a vulture. So that was really, if you look into the Bible, the story of Ezekiel was very extraterrestrial. And I believe that that's what that represents. But this Merkaba, that literally is a device for us to move within dimensions, which I think is so cool. And I know some people do that already. But all of this is what we have to look forward to, and it can't come till we become more peaceful beings. And we're doing the work. We are doing the work. And he talked about a couple of things that said, first of all, it's time for us to all step into our mastery. We're all masters. And also, one thing I loved, he said, and don't be weird about it. He said, he goes, we're all, he said, try to be normal, and I think that's so true because so often, it's like, oh, that Namaste Center, it's like it's really about just expressing this, and one place that was recommended that we do our healing is to go to our families because that's where a lot of healing takes place. He said the holidays are coming up, it's a great opportunity to go do the healings and try to be normal when you're there and keep your mouth shut and be loving, because it's a lot of times, and we don't want to throw ourselves into the fire pit by any means, but on the other hand, I think it's important for us to recognize that, if we're staying away, why are we staying away? And if we can just go there with the spirit of compassion and love, you're offering a great gift to them as well. So just, learn to keep your mouth shut, just bless, and it's all good. So that's a great place to start, right? Prayer and meditation, pray, meditate. The more we can stay in that state of consciousness of not a monkey mind or a chatter mind, and just stay in that place of peace. Since we're all connected in this big field of life, then every time I can center myself, everybody benefits by that as well. One thing I know I've shared is we can't go back to our past. The past won't work anymore, and I've shared my experience, and I think you all have had this experience as well. The past is over. And sometimes, my short example of this was, well, I can always go back and teach golf and make a few bucks. And the universe said, no, not going to give you that anymore. And it's like, kick you out to the street here, where you've got something else to do now. And so our past, it doesn't work anymore, but that's a good thing. Because Spirit always has a better plan. And I always say, I place my life in the center in the hands of God, and know that Spirit knows way better than I do what my best interest is. So I've lost interest in my golf experience so much to the point where it would be painful for me to play at this point. And it's just something I really don't choose to do anymore. And not to take ourselves so seriously. Laugh at ourselves if we screw up, if we're whatever. Just laugh at yourself. It's even the Course in Miracles says, so we forget to laugh at ourselves. We take everything, and what do they say? Angels can fly because they take themselves lightly. It's up to us not to take things so darn serious, because there is a bigger picture here. And we need to really, as we move forward, be open to this new energy and dedicate ourselves to it. Really make that commitment and dedication at an even deeper level. And a mantra, he said, is, blessed is the Lord my God who is in me. And if we can just affirm that constantly. So say that with me. Blessed is the Lord my God who is in me. And say that to yourself. And the affirmations. I know when Ellen and I go out in nature, we're like the I am affirmations. I am love. I am a being of light. I am perfectly whole. I am healed. Whatever it is, I am abundant. I am attracting all good in my life. But he said the statement, and it's easy to do when you're walking in the woods. No one will hear you. But and just continue those affirmations, meditation, prayer. These are all things that are moving us, that will enable us to raise our vibration into 44, and that we're creating a new normal. On Facebook, they show these two, it's a little cartoon, and they show this mother and her daughter from like the 50s, and the little girl says, "Mommy, what's normal?" And the mom says, "It's just a setting on the dryer, honey." And not to take ourselves so seriously. So we have to really, this is a new paradigm. We're fully moving into it. We are in it. Just keep moving forward. No turning back. There is no turning back, and it's exciting. Acknowledge the shift and get used to it, and then love it. Be grateful for it. Be open to it. Rewrite who we are. Write a whole new story for yourself. Co-create with Spirit. Say, I place my future with you. the past, the more we drag that in, that's like a big ball and chain we bring into the present. And our life is not going to be the same. It's going to be better. It is better. So our body, back to these affirmations, our body believes every word we say. It's listening. So it's just affirm that what you want. We all know that. And he gave the example of a hypochondriac that, oh, my back, oh, my, whatever, something, or, oh, I've got this headache, oh, my God, I could have a brain tumor, And, so we tend to let our minds go there. And so we have to really stay in that consistent place of co-creation with Spirit of what we choose to create rather than that what we don't want. So in closing, the closing mantra that we said together, it's very simple, and you can just repeat it after me and we'll be done. And it is, I am sacred, you are sacred, we are sacred ones, and then we'll do an Om. I am sacred, you are sacred, we are sacred ones. Om. So it is. Namaste. Sacred one.
Sacred one. I always listen to the message and decide what song to sing while I'm listening. I think we do it in every one of us.
It's always a good one.
I thought the macabre was a Mexican dance.
Well, I'm gonna bless the offering while they think about the macabre. And if you, yeah, and if you'll hold your gift next to your heart and give thanks for our Namaste Center and our spiritual family, the love we share. We offer these gifts as an extension of our appreciation, our gratitude, and our desire to continue to grow and to heal ourselves and each other. We place our future in the hands of God. And so it is. Amen.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart and open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us to be free. Find yourself and open your eyes and see. We can all have everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us. I just remember, it's like I've been sleeping for years. not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears, and I've been realizing that I bought this ticket, and I'm watching only half of the show. There is scenery and lights, a cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart and open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us, by and by.
Yay. Well, thank you all for being here today, and let's take a moment and join hands, and we will close with our peace song. Yeah, we'll get in the circle, girls. Okay, let's just give thanks for this moment and know that all is divine and our best is yet to come. And so it is. Let